This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Looking for your best sleep ever? Sleep Number smart beds are literally made for you. They adapt to your changing needs. So whether you're dealing with sore muscles or running hot at night, your bed automatically adjusts for optimal comfort. Want softer, firmer, cooler, warmer? With personalized firmness settings and temperature control that cools up to 20 times faster than leading competitors, you'll get the perfect sleep environment every night. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event, up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
This is Reusse for my guy Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Reusse is a paid endorser.
You know what this weekend was?
Glorious.
The finest sports weekend in Minnesota history.
Well, I put it in the top 5. I didn't say all right. I just put it in the top 5. But
You got a Gopher win,
Sunday
a Twins win,
5. Yes,
a Vikings win,
a Lynx win,
a Lynx win.
big win. It was a fantastic week. And here was my reaction to the whole thing. This idea that somehow here in Minnesota we're deprived as sports fans, that we have all these bad things happen to us. Crap-ola. We got them all. They win some, they lose some. So what if they never won a Super Bowl? It's something to be proud of. It's something to embrace, right?
They could make that as long as a streak as the Cubs never winning a series.
Yes, it would be fantastic.
That's ruined the Cubs, by the way.
It has, yeah. Nobody cares about the Cubs anymore. They're not cute anymore. They were cute.
That was cute.
Yes.
This ain't cute.
The Vikings, the Vikings haven't really, they haven't been in one since '77. So
I'll give you a good example. Have the Chiefs won 2 straight Super Bowls?
2 straight and three total, right?
In my house yesterday, there were people visibly rooting for the Bengals in that game.
Sure.
See, it wears off. Go away. Let's have something new here.
And they were probably Taylor Swift fans.
Oh, very much so.
They don't like Britney.
Now
his wife.
That's a conflict.
Mahomes' wife, because she's a Trump fan.
Yep.
And that's hard for some people to take, but apparently her and Taylor are managing to maintain their friendship while they're politically separated. Was Taylor there yesterday or not?
Yes. Football is a reality TV show.
Yes, it is. And Taylor is she now off? Is the 2-year thing over? Is she done?
Yes.
Running around the world making
billions
of dollars.
I believe so.
Well, that's a good. I didn't watch much of that game. I don't know why. I kind of was.
Well, to me, the refs awarded Kansas City the game with a non-existent pass interference call.
He kind of ran into him, but
Big deal. How many times a game does that get get called?
They ran off the field thinking they'd won the game, and then you could see the disgust on Joe Burrow's face. Had it been the other way, the Chiefs wouldn't have been called for that probably. So
Thank you.
You're right, but you just don't want to give that fella another chance. Else, plus this field goal kicker who a couple of years ago was a little shaky has turned into quite the machine. You know what I don't like about the modern NFL?
What's that?
How far they kick their field goals.
Pretty soon it's 100 yards.
I'm adding it to the list. I don't like long field goals.
Well, not routinely. Well, he's lining up from 58. Oh, okay. Well, there's about a 60% chance he's going to make it.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to. You know what? We shouldn't let him kick sideways. We should make him run up there straight and kick it off the toe.
That's right.
Like Tom Dempsey.
Freddie Cox did. Lou the Toe Grosso.
Was Tom Dempsey the guy with half a foot?
Yeah. He was
so he had a square front of his foot there.
He was
like
cheating.
A tool.
He was cheating, too. He was, they should have made him have wooden toes.
Like wear those Dutch shoes or something.
So wait, so just to clarify, because I'm the what would you call? I'm the archival. How do you? Yeah, I'm in charge of the archives of the things Reusse doesn't like. Do you want it to read as long field goals or the routineness
of
long field goals?
I don't mind one of. Back in the day when you had any doubts if they'd make it or now, but God almighty.
What was Bland's range? About 30 yards was about it?
He made 900 of them from 38.
Yeah.
Freddie.
Freddie
was, oh my God, Freddie was, you wouldn't have even thought of kicking him where some of these guys kicked them from.
By the way, the play of the NFL being discussed about is that ref who followed Naylor down into the end zone and ran about
with Jefferson,
or Jefferson, and ran faster than any player.
The back judge.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
If you see the clip, because he catches the ball at midfield, then runs up the left side of the field, but then cuts back, and the back judge is running with him.
Suddenly
That's how fast he was.
The judge is in the scene.
Right. My God.
Because someone said, sign that MFer up right now. Because that guy was flying.
I did not notice that. What are you doing?
I have my ringer
on.
A
train station alarm you got there?
Dick Jankowski.
Yeah.
Dick Jankowski, you want me to write a column about him going into the Hall of Fame?
I see.
What Hall of Fame?
When is that?
That's coming up.
What Hall of Fame?
Usually end of September. End of September, I think. I can't remember. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
What Hall of Fame?
Minnesota Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Are you in that, Rivers?
No.
He's been a PA guy for years.
Long time.
And he, I'm sure that he nominated himself. So, I told you my great Dick Jankowski shot. A couple of years ago, John Anderson, they were having a John Anderson thing at Siebert Field. And it had a nice crowd. It was full. It was a late spring game. And I'm walking through this crowd, going to leave, and Jankowski's there, and there's 3 40, 50-year-old women around him, and he's telling them jokes and stuff, and the one says, Dick just told me a joke. Just told us a joke. And I said, I've heard it. Which I thought was a good shot at Dick. And he was very offended because he wouldn't have been offended if it had just been me, but he had an audience.
But he had an audience in front of him.
He had an audience who I ridiculed him in front of, which is. But anyway, I'm glad he's going to the Hall of Fame. He's had some bad health problems, but he keeps fighting through them. And I don't know what he wants.
What are we to make of the Twins?
We got a lefty today. Did you see that?
No.
Cole Irvin, a lefty for Baltimore, who was in their rotation for a while.
I thought he was with Oakland.
I think he was in Baltimore. Maybe I'm wrong, but he got released And the Twins claimed him, and here's the sad news.
Uh-oh, who we losing?
Took Dauber off the 40-man.
Oh, no.
Outrated the Dauber. So Irvin is a...
you were right. He was with Baltimore. I apologize.
He's a lefty. I thought he was the kid from Woodbury, or the kid from Minnesota, but that's Jake Irvin, who's someplace else. So I had my Irvins mixed up. But he's a left-hander. Maybe he'll... maybe he started some for the Orioles earlier this year. And then
He's got an ERA just south of 5.
He went in the tank. He was pitching okay early, but I think he pitched against the Twins at least once when they played him. But he's left-handed and breathing. So
this is a great 4 games at Cleveland. There's your chance.
Not to catch them, but you got to win. They won't catch them. But if they can split, they got to. What do you think? They got 13 left.
Yep.
13 left.
But
what's their record, Joe?
The Twins' record
77 or 78, right? 78 and
78 and 80.
The Twins are. Let me find the damn
Come on,
thing.
you can find it with your glasses.
I got it. They're 79 and 70.
Okay, they got 13 left then, as you could easily figure.
I
that
did.
out.
I had I had my calculator.
They got 13 left. They got to win what? 7, 6, 7. Because they got the tiebreaker with both Detroit and Seattle.
Because here's the thing, though. You almost want to be careful because what you don't want, you want to end up playing Cleveland in the playoffs because that's the only team you have a chance to beat.
Yeah, Cleveland could end up being second. The Yankees will end up with the best record.
Right, but that's my point is you don't want to
be the 2 seed.
You don't want to put yourself in a position.
You're not going to play them in the first round. Cleveland's going to be get the bye.
Oh, I forgot about that. I thought they changed that this year, but they
no. They can't. The top 2 teams get a bye, and then you play the 3-game series.
Oh, okay.
So if they're 6th, they'll end up playing Houston.
Gotcha. Okay, they could play with Houston.
Houston's not nearly as good as they've been, but they'll be well favored over this collection.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel! Wait a minute.
What?
With scarcely a mention, the Wild are at Winnipeg Saturday night, 7:00 game.
Yes. They start practicing.
Would they practice Wednesday?
They start practice. They report Wednesday. They play Saturday.
They're like town ball teams.
They are.
Yeah, we got a game in Jordan tomorrow.
Hell?
They play Saturday night at home. Is it at home?
At Winnipeg.
Oh, at Winnipeg. Okay. Yeah.
There's not a word about this. Have the Wild even been in the paper yet?
Not yet. I think our writer, Reusse, and maybe your paper have done something, but I think Sarah's probably just getting back from. She usually goes home to Phoenix in the summer, although that wouldn't be my preferred place in the summer. But she's
a little warm.
But I would imagine we'll have a Wild copy will start appearing maybe in tomorrow's paper. So,
it's
because the town's got Viking fever.
It does.
Oh, it certainly does. And yesterday, what a day! As Joe said, I mean, the Vikings beat the 49ers worse than the final score. Their defense just wrapped them in a little
Jones
ball.
doesn't fumble that ball inside the 5, it's an absolute blowout.
And, the San Francisco, by the way, has not won here since 1992. Mm-hmm. They've lost their last 8 visits here.
Wow.
But they weren't always good in those times. But they didn't have McCaffrey. But half the time they don't have McCaffrey.
You know who can play football? That Fred Warner. He is an absolute beast.
How old is he, too? 33 or 4?
Oh, is he that old? I thought
he'd been around for a while. He's good. But
yeah, he's a good player.
I'll tell you what. I like Flores, man.
Yeah.
I wonder if O'Connell is even allowed to stop and say hello in the defensive role.
Oh, just keep moving.
That's him. That's his operation, man. And how much better are they having gotten 3 players for the price of Hunter?
Yes.
Well,
you could say the same thing, not having to pay him and Kirk. You were able to assemble a pretty good roster.
You got a guy named Van Ginkel. How often can you get a guy named Van Ginkel?
Grew up a Vikings fan.
Yes.
In, is it Rock something, Iowa?
There's no doubt about
right.
it. He could use
He's a good player.
haircut.
How about this? I saw this stat yesterday. The New York Football Giants.
Yes.
Joe, are you paying attention?
I'm looking at the weather in Philadelphia for tonight's game. Unfortunately, it doesn't look
beautiful.
Problematic.
It goes from here to there. Although we do have that thing coming up from New Orleans and the soggy.
It's the Calcutta.
That's been sticking around a long time with producing much rain.
The Giants were the first team in NFL history yesterday to score 3 offensive touchdowns, not allow a touchdown, and still lose the game in regulation. Washington kicked 7 field goals.
Really? Wow. They didn't score a touchdown?
And they didn't score a touchdown, and the Giants scored 18.
Is that? We're playing right into my thing.
What's that?
7 field goals. You shouldn't be allowed to kick 7 field goals.
You hit the limit.
Yes.
Well, do we have would the box score tell me how long they were?
That's
probably.
Yeah, that's about the only thing you'll find in there.
But they went. Apparently, they went for 2 on each touchdown. The Giants, because they lost 21-18.
Let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
Let's find that game.
Okay.
Here we go.
Distance. What's the guy's not Mosley anymore? You know, how bad was the league the year that Mark Mosley was the MVP, the field goal kicker from Washington? God,
okay, this one you'll accept 27 yards.
Yeah.
Then you'll accept even a 45 yard.
Sure.
You'll accept a 26 yard. A 33-yarder and a 30-yarder.
A lot of cookies and a lot of little tiny ones then, huh?
That's 1, 2, 3,
4 or 5.
Oh, and then maybe they scored a defensive touchdown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, those were all acceptable field goals.
All easy little field goals. Then you complain about being stymied when you're down deep.
Right.
You're going to be watching Kirk tonight and rooting mightily against him like I am?
Heavens, yes.
Yes. Who do they play?
They got the Birds. It's the bird battle. The Eagles and the Falcons.
The weather in Philadelphia.
And it's in Philly.
And Kirk usually plays well on night games in Philly.
Ooh. Well, the thing is, if Kirky stinks it out tonight,
they're going to play the kid.
When they go back to Atlanta the next time, and he comes out and they have to punt twice, they're going to all be chanting. That's what made that drafting that guy so stupid.
Because the crowd's going to want him.
Oh,
yeah.
The crowd's going to want him. Yeah, it's football fans. We always want the next guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them turned on Darnold because of the interception. Yeah, that guy's going to throw an interception. How about the 55-yarder that hits the guy right in the hands? Plus, he's an athlete, unlike Kirky Boy. So it's great.
Are you a fan of Tua Tagovailoa retiring?
I don't care if he retires or not, but
well, they'll be sucking oatmeal through a straw then, because
it was when you saw that 5 seconds before they said something's going on here on TV, you saw his head snap, and he was, and that when Koski basically had his career ruined, he never hit his head. It was the neck snap. When he caught a ball, he was
at the Dome, right? Wasn't it at the Dome?
No, it was somewhere in Milwaukee.
Oh,
and he was maybe the roof was. It could have been the roof might have been closed in Milwaukee, but he was catching a ball, and when he went back, he just landed and his neck snapped, and he had a concussion he never got over.
But this guy was doing the claw. And his arm was extended,
and he is 2 years ago.
He had a bad one.
He's the reason too.
Yeah,
he had one during the game.
Yeah,
and they evaluated him and sent him back out there. And then he got another. And then he got another one. And I think didn't he pretty much invent the tent? Is
Tua?
he one of the reasons? Or
I thought it's been around longer than him.
That? Maybe the tent's been around longer.
His money's guaranteed.
You know what he invented? He invented the guy standing up. Sitting up in the press box with binoculars, saying, "Get that linebacker off the field. He just might have taken a hit on his head." That's
But this guy's got a lot of money guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
Can't anyone get to him and say, "Look, if you want any kind of life at all, you got to not play again"?
Well,
wait till Taylor Swift has to start putting diapers on this Kelsey character, because he's had. How many?
I don't know. Is he?
They all do. Yeah. They all have them.
Well, him especially, because he runs through people.
Right.
When he catches it, he's crazy. But that, she's about ready to move on, don't you think? I don't think she's, some song. I don't think we'll have one of those songs of retribution, though. Do you? I think she likes the guy.
I think
you?
so too.
Yeah.
She sits by Ma at the football game.
Sure, you're not
Come
gonna
on.
rip him, and, no. So, but
I got a stat for both of you.
okay.
Are you two aware that your favorite division, the American League Central, has 4 teams with winning records?
Yes.
But the division as a whole
Under
is 359 and 390.
Yeah.
Because the
Thank
Chicago
you,
White
Whiteys.
Sox.
They're 30, although on a 2-game winning streak.
Really?
They've won the last 2.
Do you celebrate that?
And they're at 115.
115.
So they got to go 8-5
to avoid
120.
I don't like their chances.
Who holds the record at 120?
Remember the Metsometer.
Oh, the Mets.
40 and 120, but
the 61 or 62 Mets?
62.
I think the Whiteys have to get to 121 to claim it because the Mets didn't play 2 games.
Well,
One was a rainout that wasn't made up, and one was a tie. So back then they didn't count ties. You just had to replay the game.
They just say we're out of pitching, we can't go anymore.
No, it was a tie because of weather and stuff. But you didn't replay. They just like the Twins. What year was it? I think the World Series year. They played 164 games, 2 ties. The stats count on the record, but the game doesn't count in the standings.
If you were on the White Sox, wouldn't you kind of want the record?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell?
Like, let's go here.
Because of us. The Tigers, what year?
03.
The Tigers were going to tie it at 120, and the Twins came in there and lost 2 out of 3 to them. If the Twins had won 2 out of 3.
At the end of the
Twins
year,
won
right?
the division,
Yeah.
But the last weekend, or maybe 3 out of 4, because the Tigers avoided getting to 120 that year.
Now, would you do that as a promotional piece? If you're the White Sox staff and you say, come on, folks, come on out and watch loss number 121.
No, but they have won 2 in a row. So.
The NL West has a nice race going. 3.5, LA 3.5 ahead of San Diego.
Well, those are 2 really good clubs.
5 ahead of Arizona.
How about the fact that the Padres traded Soto and got better?
Yeah.
They're a good team, San Diego.
God. Yeah, they are. They're really good. Well, this 20-year-old kid, Merrill, comes up as their center fielder 1 year. Second year, he got drafted last year. He's great.
Yeah.
I sure grew to appreciate this kid from Cincinnati who just left town.
De La Cruz?
L.A. De La Cruz.
Oh.
The youth of America loves him.
Mm-hmm. My boys watched almost every pitch.
Is he
of the game on
Dominican
Saturday.
Republic guy?
One of those places.
Yeah.
He's
from down there.
not from
Somewhere.
Hastings.
No, he ain't from Hastings.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he didn't play Legion ball in Chaska.
No, I don't know. I don't know where he's from, but what an athlete.
Yeah.
But who'd I hear? My Eric Curry, who used to sell for the Twins, now he's a corporate guy for Marty Davis with Cambria. But he took his sons to the game, like a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. No, I think Harmon, his son Harmon, is 7. And Harmon was ecstatic because he got to see De La Cruz hit a grand slam home run against the Twins because it's his, he's seen enough baseball just as a 7-year-old kid to love the guy.
Sure.
It's kind of like the NBA, You got all these young. I remember Chip Scoggins telling me when he had like a 11, 12-year-old son, and he and all his buddies played basketball, big hoop heads. All they cared about was Ja Morant.
Yeah.
They didn't, they wanted to see Ja do stuff. Well, Ja has a little trouble with other issues. So,
I have an observation. I thought you gave up the Diet Coke.
Oh, I didn't give it up. I just don't drink it as consistently.
We reduced the amount.
Yes, we were alternate,
Okay.
In fact, I got a new thing, a morning pick-me-up, Zoa. Z-O-A. It's an orangey type, comes in a can. And
You've tried coffee and you can't do
I
it.
can't do it. But the Zoa, somebody told me, has twice as much caffeine as Diet Coke. So
Really?
It's a zero sugar energy drink.
Yes, it is, but it's not a zero caffeine energy drink.
Hold on. I got you, Joe. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're
You
thinking.
shouldn't be drinking those energy
This
drinks.
is what Patrick's
Bad things
Do
will
you want
happen.
to feel so energetic? Try Power Thirst. Energy drinks for people who need gratuitous amounts of energy. With all new flavors like chocolate. Chocolate energy. It's like adding chocolate to an electrical store. Sound the alarm. You're going to be uncomfortably energetic. What's that? You want strawberry? Well, how about rawberry? Made with lightning. Real lightning. Sports. You'll be good at them. It's an energy drink for men. Energy. You'll have so much energy. Energy. Just running all the time. Power running, power lifting, power sleeping, power dating, power eating, power laughing, power spawning babies. You'll have so many babies. 400 babies. Hey, go with the sure thing. Don't gamble on your energy.
So, who was that on?
That was a spoof we played, oh, God, years ago. It was just a guy
that
making
rough?
fun of... No, it's just some guy on... I think it was on Twitter.
This was before real energy drinks really exploded.
Yes. Oh, God, that's so
I
funny.
got in a little controversy.
Uh-oh.
Do you ever watch Masterpiece Theater?
Well, sometimes, sure.
Alan Cumming introduces it.
Yeah.
Alan introduces it.
Yeah.
And he kind of sets it up, maybe 30 seconds, and then he gives you kind of the side eye, like you're going to get interested. So I'm having this thought last night, because he's gay,
Yeah.
but he's bisexual. He also has he's married, but he has a live-in guy, and it's, when you look at his wiki page, he proudly, it's proudly. So anyway, I'm watching it, and it was great last night before Vanderbilt, which is a great series. And I said, if I was gay, I'd love to have Alan Cumming come through the door, give me one of those little speeches, and then give me a little side eye before we enjoyed the evening.
Sure.
So
I never looked at it that way.
So I went on Twitter and suggested that, knowing it would be a bit reaction, and the reaction was what I expect. You are gay, stuff like that.
Oh, when I saw your tweet, I lost it. I started laughing so hard.
What's the side eye? That part is...
Oh, it's like the
like this over here. Huh?
He gives you the what's Vanderbilt going to be up to. And he gives you a little tilt to the head, So
just like Joe doesn't ride the bus, you're not gay.
No,
but if you were...
Well, I want to have a guy like him to come in and give me the big send-up, the 30-second speech about what was going to occur that evening, and then the side eye. It would be great. He's great. He has been in some bad movies, I got to say.
Yeah.
Some of his movies have been real clinkers, but he's been doing this for them for
And this guy's name is what?
Alan Cumming.
Alan Cumming.
A-L-A-N, and then Cumming, no S on the end of it.
Huh. Never heard of him.
Oh, he's a Brit, I'm sure, isn't he?
I just added something to my Garage Logic button bar, and I played this clip that will get Reusse's attention because Joe had said something to Kenny like, okay, thank you. And I played the
Okay, thank you.
Ray Ratto at the Spurs press conference.
What was that? What was his question?
Remember, he had asked Popovich it was a playoff game.
Yes.
So they must have been playing Golden State, right? Because Ratto is in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. And he had asked Pop a question about, I don't know if it was a coaching decision about a player, and Pop just bobbled him in front of the entire thing, and his response was, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The rap.
And then I would have liked to see the column after he. After he could take you apart in the most humorous fashion ever. Not Ray Ratto. You didn't know Ratto.
I knew Ray.
Oh, you did. Yeah, that's right. He's been around that long. He was, the Chronicle. He retired from the Chronicle, and then he went to work for that National. Right?
Was it the Athletic? Didn't he go? He didn't go to the Athletic.
Didn't go to the Athletic. I think it was I don't know where he went. No, I know he went. NBC Bay Area or something was going to have a staff that covered people, and then it didn't work. And now he's more radio and TV.
But they had,
funniest guy
they had the camera on him as Pop is just bleeping, blah, 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 and Ray's just nodding. He's just, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. He was some of his stuff. The funniest column he ever wrote was
in the World Series in 2002 when they had the rally monkey in California. Anaheim, they had the rally monkey, and they used the rally monkey to beat the Giants. And he wrote a column about we needed a rally something. The rally mayor, Willie Brown jokes and stuff like rally, all kinds of stuff. And he did have the rally gay guy in there, but that got edited. And Glenn Schwartz, who was another good buddy of mine, was his boss. And I said, this thing was hilarious. He said, I said, that's the funniest column I ever read. And he said, you should have seen what I had to take out.
Really?
Well, didn't he have things like a rally hooker and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm sure he had every San Francisco, the rally homeless guy, and the rally, he had every San Francisco joke you could possibly.
That's funny.
Should possibly tell, but I think the rally gay guy got taken out, and a couple others got taken out.
That's funny.
He told me anyway. So our Lynx, by the way, did you see who we beat yesterday? Bloody in New York.
I missed that. Oh.
The number one seed, who we're still pursuing. We went in and hammered them on their home court.
The Liberty?
Yes.
Really?
I think do the Liberty play in the Garden? I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
I'm not sure where they play.
I missed it. I didn't see any of the game.
I missed it too, but I read the score. We shot 52%. They shot 39%. The defense has been very good for our Lynx this year, and they're going to.
They play at the Barclays Center.
Oh, okay.
The Liberty do.
Well, anyway, we whooped them. So that was just part of the great weekend. The Twins. One of the best at bats of the season. Did you see any of the Twins game? Or are you strictly?
No, you know why?
Strictly
Yesterday,
focused on the Vikings.
I had the Twins game on the radio and the TV on in the garage.
It was on Roku. Yes.
It was on Roku. I had no shot.
Yeah.
I don't have Roku.
Yeah, they just willy-nilly put these games on stations. And anyway, Ryan Jeffers, they're struggling again to score any runs. He had one of his best at bats in months because he kind of slowed down his swing and hit a double to left field on a good hard throwing right-hander, and that kind of broke the game open for him. But I don't know. They got one issue though, Joe, that's kind of plaguing them. They aren't that good. That's
that can be a detriment. Yeah.
Did Correa come back
yesterday?
Buxton comes back and says, "I'm not 100%, but I might as well play because I'm not going to be." And then Correa comes back and he's not 100%, but he's going to play. So you really want this? I don't know.
Well, what's your option?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but with Buxton, you can never play Whittle next year because he'll just get hurt then.
Yes.
Right. I think Buxton's got the right idea. I might as well play.
Yeah, Buxton had a 90. He didn't play them all, but he had a 90-game stretch where he was really good. I never thought we'd see him that good again. But somebody, my inside spy over there, who always tells me stuff, told me that he had the first cortisone shot. It had very positive effects. Then he had a second one and didn't do anything for him. So he said, I might as well play.
Wait, he's had 2 this year? 2 cortisone?
With this latest injury. Yeah. So,
are you not supposed to take too much of that?
Well, because I'm going to guess he's had them before, but that can't be good for you, having 2 in that time frame.
And the other guy, Footsie, I don't know what we're going to do with him. This guy's convinced that it's the ankle, not the plantar fasciitis, but they don't want to admit it's the ankle. It's the ankle that
prevented the Giants and the Mets to say no.
And the Mets from not giving him $100 million more.
Isn't plantar fasciitis the warts on the bottom of your feet?
It's the tendon.
It's the tendon.
Tendon.
Yeah.
What's the one with the warts on the bottom of your feet?
Plantar warts.
Plantar warts.
Plantar warts.
Yeah.
I never had a plantar wart.
I had them once. You have to shave them.
Yeah.
You got to get a cheese scraper.
Yeah.
You'll go after those.
That's an
babies.
elegant thought.
Yeah.
Does a CP do that for you?
No. I was totally on my own and told to go
Honey,
outside.
why don't we nestle in for an evening?
Not even
First, here's my grader.
not the garage either.
Here's the belt sander.
Well, I had to go outside.
Outside.
That's what you might as well put a belt sander
What
on.
are you doing there, Joe?
I'm shaving my feet.
sanding my feet.
It worked, though. They're gone.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Don't you have to take a pause?
We don't need a pause today. But
really?
we do need to hear from the Valley Group, but whenever you guys are ready to conclude.
Well, we haven't commended Peter Fleck, or what's his name?
PJ
for
Fleck.
shutting out Nevada.
Back to back for the first time. What did I see in 62?
And the Iowegians are coming to town with just about as bad offense as they had last year, so we could be 3 in a row.
I think I got family coming to town for that game this weekend.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't it?
I would imagine we'll have 10,000 Iowans here.
Well, because it's the big one Saturday night. It's on NBC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6:30 game.
Really?
Yeah. I don't like those.
Oh,
night
boy.
games.
Oh, you don't like a night
those.
game?
You don't like those.
What's wrong with a night game?
Yeah, because there's other stuff to do at night, you know.
Well, you're not going to go anyway.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But I'm not going to go. I don't know. I guess it's okay.
You know,
I go back to the days when the only place anybody played a night game was in the deep South, and there was only about 3 play. The only team that played night games was LSU.
The thing I can't believe, and I know it has everything to do with the new television contracts, have you noticed how many freaking games are on TV now for college football? There was at least 20 channels that had a college football game on Saturday,
including
at the same time.
Including teams that you have no interest in. They're all over the place. There's no doubt about it. So,
tell me again why Alabama went to Wisconsin. Payday? They don't have to. You don't have to pay Alabama.
No, because Wisconsin's going back.
Yeah, they're doing a home and home.
Yeah, they just got a little out over their skis at Wisconsin.
They really did.
And decided to play them again. Now they've all turned on Luke Fickell over there and want to bring Paul Chryst back. When I looked at
kidding
Wisconsin Twitter, and then the Fickell defenders are saying Paul Chryst recruiting was terrible, blah blah blah.
Well, there was a bit of a difference in the athletes on the field that day.
Yes, Alabama was much easier to handle in the 60s when they were segregated. You know. The worst thing that ever happened to Big Ten football was integration in the South. That was a bad
when
thing.
USC played Alabama.
Yes, Alabama. Sam Bam Cunningham, 4 touchdowns. Whether it's true or not.
And Bear, we know what he said, Joe.
Yeah, I got to get me one of those.
I got to get one.
When I sat with Bear for 2 hours one Saturday morning.
I never knew this.
I never had the guts to.
No, I wouldn't either.
If that's true.
When was this? When did you sit down with him?
Oh, early 80s. I went down there on the Saturday before. They always used to take the Saturday before the Auburn game off, and that was back when you'd call the SID and say, "Any chance I can get in and see Coach Bryant this week?" And he said, "Yeah, come down Saturday morning." And so I went in there, and this was near the end. But, I was in there 2 hours, and I was at St. Paul then, obviously. And some of his turkey hunting buddies were in there, and I just sat there and listened to them BS for 2 hours. And then, you know what I did? I ran to the hotel and wrote it. Back today, you'd have to have, like 6 editors help you with it,
right,
and all stuff like that. I had it in by 5 in the afternoon.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was. He was a nice old guy, but they were.
Was he the guy who had the tower?
Yeah, he had the tower.
Yep.
Yeah, and but in his day, he's the meanest SOB that ever lived.
Sure.
But by then, he was kind of
relaxed.
Other coaches doing all the stuff, and he was. It was fine. It was fun. So, anyway, he died a couple of years after that, I think. Pretty soon after. He only lasted about a year after he quit coaching.
After he quit coaching, sure.
Yeah. So
that's why don't retire.
No, doesn't look like I'm going to. I don't know.
Doesn't look like I
got
am.
a year left on my. I got a contract.
I don't have one. You told me about this, and I can't believe it. I don't have one.
If you can get a contract, you can do a lot more work for less money.
That's right. But you get to say you got a contract.
Yeah, you get to say you got a contract.
I don't have a contract.
Although
we don't even have a building.
Oh man, it's great. Well, anyway,
Hand me that towel there, please. That paper towel.
Greatest, glorious weekend though.
Oh, wonderful.
The Flexter wins. How was the Flexter's crowd? Did they have any people there?
I listened to a fair amount of it on the radio, and it sounded like they had, from the way it was described, it sounded like it had a decent crowd. Not 40, a sellout by any means, but
40 maybe. Yeah. And we got the Flexter.
So wait a minute. Let me ask you, though. The kid makes the field goal. They can beat Iowa. Iowa's not that good this year.
No, they can beat Iowa. Yep.
If the kid makes the field goal against North Carolina, there's a decent chance they could have beat.
One sad thing is I don't think Purdue's on the schedule this year.
Jesus, did you see that score?
Notre Dame Purdue score? Joe?
No.
66-7.
Who?
Notre Dame.
Oh, they were a little angry about last week.
They bounced back.
I think so.
I said on Twitter, because I'm kind of a quipster, I said, boy, Purdue must be happy that Northern Illinois is not on its schedule, which got the Irish fans all upset.
I bet it did.
Yes,
I bet it did. Do we have a good contingent here? Irish fans?
Oh, God, everywhere.
Okay.
I remember when Lou went to Notre Dame, and he came back in February and spoke at the Notre Dame Club at the St. Paul Hotel.
Yeah.
And I went over there, and it was worship. It was 150 people, most of whom seemed to be well off, and it was absolute worship.
Really?
When he walked in the room, yeah. And then the next fall, I went to his first game, and they have the famous Friday night Pep Fest.
Yeah.
There, and where they fill up the basketball arena. And he strutted up those steps, and I said, Lou's home. Lou's finally home, you know. Although then he ended up going South Carolina and North Carolina State after that.
Right.
So he was never home.
I still love that Chad story. Wasn't it when he came home from school?
Chad comes home from Arizona. Thanksgiving. He hasn't seen Sid since August. He expects this big greeting at the gate. Back when you get to the gate, it looks like his entire family died. And he said, Dad, what's wrong? He expected the big hug. He says, Holtz is going to Notre Dame. Unbelievable. All right, that's enough. That's enough.
Jim Paul's Valley Group?
Jim Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. You want me to tell you about it?
Yes, sir.
Well, they've been my guys now for 12, 13, 14 years. I think 6 vehicles, plus relatives with used vehicles, plus Reavers. You still driving a Jim Paul.
Yep.
What is that you're driving?
I currently have a Traverse, but I bought that in a Terrain from Jim Paul's Valley Group.
And I wonder who in the car dealerships, various models, comes up with the names. Where do you come up with the names? I've always been curious about that. How you got the Traverse and who comes up with that?
They got
name?
People that do
they
that.
Got the people. They must have people, a whole committee that sits there and say, "What should we call this one?" They say, "I know, the Traverse." Does it mean anything? I don't know. What difference does it make? They got 4 different varieties of SUVs out there, the smaller ones all the way to the big ones. And they have the Regal station wagon that Joe recommends is seen out there, and trucks, Sierra trucks, the heavy duty trucks are really in popular demand now. You know what you see? You know who you see driving trucks, Reavers?
Who?
Gals.
Yeah.
You see gals driving big honking.
Big safety.
Yes, the big honking trucks. You see those. Anyway, Jim Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. Those guys out in Hastings, plus my guys at Apple Valley. We have low interest rates and factory rebates and full stock and used cars. What more would you want? Check out my guys, Jim Paul and Brett Paul at the Valley Group of GM dealers.